country vicar had been constipated for weeks, and he was walking across the woods one day, and his stomach rolled, and he realised that he needed to have a crap as soon as possible, you see. So he looked around. He said, well, the Lord has provided these woods. I think I will empty my bowels behind that hedge. Yeah? So anyway, he goes behind the hedge and he drops his trousers. And the other side of the hedge, unbeknown to him, are two poachers. And one poacher whispers to the other one. He says, oh, I think that's the old vicar, isn't it? He says, oh, I think it is. I think he's having a crap. I know. Let's play a trick on him. So what they do, they put a shovel under the hedge, underneath the vicar, collect what he does, and then slide that away, and then they slide another shovel full of rabbit innards in its place, you see. So anyway, time goes on, and later on that day, they're all in the pub, and the vicar walks in, and why is a she? And they said, you all right, vicar? And the vicar says, oh, he said, the Lord played a trick on me today. He said, I was in the woods and I needed to go to the bathroom, and for exposing my buttocks to the woods and the animals there, my intestines fell out, but I was very lucky. I managed to push them all back in again. Yes, that's the constipated vicar joke, attempted without any safety precautions whatsoever. So we've just lost half the audience there, you know. Well, tonight we've got the bowler hat farm. I mustn't grumble. And now the bowler hat farmer, as we know, he grows bowler hats. This was Deb asked that, and I'm afraid, do you grow them amongst the cabbages? Because people don't realise you actually grow bowler hats. That's quite right. Haggises, you know, you can grow them. Yeah.
You can grow anything you want as long as you know where to start. And, you know, bowler hats is one of the things which, you know, years ago, I remember going to London. They obviously grew a lot of them down there, because I remember going across London Bridge one morning early and there was thousands of them.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Thousands. But I think they must have closed the garden down where they grew them, I reckon, because there ain't none anymore. You go down there now, there's none at all. There used to be thousands of them going across Westminster Bridge and London Bridge and Tower Bridge.
Right. Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, actually. You know, they used to raise their hats to ladies, didn't they? Sort of, good morning, madam, and very polite.
Yeah.
You know, except for the ones that weren't.
Yeah.
But in chat tonight, we've lost someone. I don't know quite what happened, but Paul was on at an unbelievably early time, and suddenly StreamYard or YouTube has taken him off. I don't know quite why, but I just said, hello, Paul. You certainly got the brownie points this week for being first on. Well, he was first on, but YouTube have taken him off.
He's gone.
Poor sod. Sorry, mate. And second is Suko. So Suko was 724. That's bloody keen, isn't it? You know. And I read the Skeptic says, I think you will find Sue is a stalker, Chris. Oh, that's nice.
You wish.
It's been stalked. Oh, goody. Oh, yes, you know. And because you probably find the same problem being a sort of you know, an international sex symbol such as ourselves. You can't get to sleep at night because there's ladies up ladders tapping on your window and, you know, kissy and all that when you go out. It's very disturbing. Young lads like us are not safe, are we?
It's interesting.
I wish.
I was out doing a farm open day on Saturday, and you know, when you get people come up and they start talking to you like they know you, and they're like, you know, I say, oh, well, hello there, you know, just make idle chit chat and shit. You don't remember me, do you? No. I made a comment on your Facebook the other night, you know, along with the other 12,000 people who made a comment, you know, and I'm like, no, sorry, the face don't ring any bells. Of course, Quasimodo's did, but not hers.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. I've had that. Someone come up to me and say, Eric, I know you. I thought, bloody hell, do I know him? No. And I had a woman in Tesco's say, Eric, hello. And the third one, it's very weird when you get a complete stranger come up to you.
Yeah.
They know you, you don't know them. Now, he said, sorry, evening, folks, just jumping in the bath. Bit too much information there, but so
steady, Tiger.
Like, here we go. And remember, we're on YouTube. They might say this is porno. We can't allow this, So, Suko says, evening, Chris and bowler hat farmer and all. Mark Anthony says, evening all. Finally, we get to hear the constipated vicar joke. There it is. Bit of a disappointment, wasn't it? But that's it. Yeah, it's some people say it's a bit of a shitty joke. Good evening, everyone. It's Louise Wilcox, and of course, Suko says, "I ready to get fucked. I was just checking the details of the show." Right. Well, on with the show now. Now, what is it now? Now, I think the government are doing such a marvelous job. Our supermarkets and everywhere has the most pure food, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Oh, sorry. Is that cats? Dogs? I think it's bullshit, isn't it?
Bullshit, Chris. It smells like bullshit from here.
Yes, it certainly is bullshit. What the bloody hell is happening to our food? I mean, it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Broccoli has doubled in price, and it's horrendous. What's just what you don't mind? I'm just going to fiddle around because I'm in a different location tonight because my other computer decided to back itself up. Bloody Microsoft. Bill Gates is probably thinking, yeah, I think I'll sod him up. Let's back his computer up, the little bastard.
That's exactly what it is. You've been played with. You've been manipulated.
That's right. I'm going to turn the other one off because what happens is, hang on, one fights the other one. Otherwise, it slows the stream down. So I better turn the other one off.
It's interesting you talk about food prices, Chris, because obviously, as you know, I'm in the veg trade, and we've noticed over the past few weeks there's a lot of stuff. It's getting really hard to get hold of. Bizarre stuff as well. Like really? Last week we couldn't buy cucumbers. The English are coming to an end. There's no Spanish about. It's just, and prices, Chris, I've been in this job for over 40 years and I have never, ever witnessed prices like we're getting at the moment. I had some chestnuts come in this morning and they're coming in at £10 a kilo.
What? Mind you, you pick them free of charge in about a week or two's time, I think.
It's just crazy times. And people say, our benevolent government are doing ever so well. I don't know what planet these people are on who genuinely believe that. I think they must be part of the bloody gravy boat, I reckon.
Well, I just don't. I just don't understand the mindset of people like Keir Starmer. I just don't. I can't get to sort of. There's something in his brain that is just, I don't know, not functioning right. He's got that sort of.
Chris,
like this, to hear that.
I think you and I both know, and probably most of your viewers will know as well, that people say, "Oh, he's making some really bad decisions," but actually he's not. He's making the decisions he was put in there to make.
Correct, or someone's making the decisions for him.
Yeah, World Economic Forum. We know that's who's behind it. We know that's who's pulling the strings, and we know he's in there doing the job they put him in to do. So it does make sense to them. Just because it's not in our favour, that's the reality of the situation. It's all in their favour, as per usual.
Well, by the way, Answer's just coming with some hotline news. She said she was getting in the bath, but she said, I didn't say I was going for a shit. Oh, that's good. I'm pleased about that. So
that's nice.
We like people to be honest on the show, don't we?
Absolutely.
Tom tit. But no, you're right. I mean, when they asked Starmer, what do you put first, Westminster or Davos? He said Davos.
Davos, absolutely.
Well, yeah. The man is, but I think he's metaphorically digging his own grave.
I would say he 100% is. At the end, Chris, let's be honest. I don't know how many millions of pensioners they've just shafted right through the back end. But come the local elections next year, I can absolutely assure you they're going to get the slaughtering of their life.
Oh, they will. But the thing is, I think it's rigged. I really do think it's rigged. Because who in their right mind would vote for that communist ding dong.
Well, Chris, only 20% of the population voted them in.
That's right.
Remember that only 20% of them actually voted them into power. They didn't win.
Do you know
the
what
Conservatives
percentage
lost?
Well, do you know what percentage of the population supported the Bolsheviks when they came in? 7%. And do you know what percentage of the Chinese population supported Chairman Mao? 5%. 5. That's how they slide in. Oh, by the way, we've got Paul. And good evening, Paul. Paul, this is the bowler hat farmer who grows bowler hats. And welcome. This is Paul, who lives down in Richard Bobe's land. Isn't that right, Sir Paul? You live around there.
Well, I too am in Sussex. If the bowler-hatted farmer is from Sussex. Are you from Sussex, bowler-hatted?
No, I'm from Suffolk.
Oh, you said Sussex yesterday. I'm sure you said Sussex. I've got to go then. I can't hang out with people from Suffolk. It's outrageous.
Well, you know. By the way, is Patrick coming on? Or is he still trying to catch his pigs?
I don't know, really. That's not a euphemism, is it? No, it's not. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing, actually. He's probably doing something important, like tending to livestock or something. So I've no idea. Yeah. I don't know at the moment.
Yes. But as I say, we were just saying what a marvellous job the government's doing of bringing down the prices. We'll all be living an absolute whoopee in a whoopee situation by Christmas. Hang on, I think that's what
the government. What's that again? Remind me. What's the government?
What it might, I don't know. Government.
They're
that's
the
that
ones
bunch
who
of
make things
mafia.
up as they go along and charge us for doing it.
I can't wait for the October budget. Boy, it's going to be tough. Apparently, I can't wait. It's going to be so tough. Ooh, I'm trembling.
Well,
yeah. They're going to remove they haven't said anything, but there's a possibility they're going to remove the 25% discount for single people living in houses. That's to get people out of their houses. They're going to price you out of your house.
Yeah.
Are they going to price you off your land? Because that's another thing I think they're going to do.
I think what you're going to see, Chris, is the inheritance tax change for farmers, which will mean that people will get out of farming before that comes into play.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen. You're going to see a lot of farmers walk away from farming because they know if they stay in the job, they can't hand the farm down because the family will just lose too much. I'm also already starting to see this. Some of the people locally are already making those decisions and getting out.
And during was it foot and mouth? I think it was one dairy farmer a week was committing suicide in this country. Unbelievable.
Interestingly, I spoke to Graham Miles the other day. He's the agricultural rural chaplain for Suffolk. Mm-hmm. And Graham's a good friend of mine. I'm with him weekend after next. We're doing the Harvest Festival together. I go and take him all the bales to build an altar out of. So
that's nice.
Yeah, he said, it's one of the things you can do for the community, isn't it? And it's at the Suffolk Showground. It's a lovely day. And he was saying that he's now got to go for counselling himself because he's dealt with so many people that have taken their lives in the past year. All people in the farming community that have lots and lots of the kids that are 18 to 21 are committing suicide because they feel that they've let their parents down because they don't want to go into farming. And on the other end of it, the parents who are committing suicide because they can't hand the farm down to the kids because they don't want the kids to go through what they have. And he's like, we got to the point locally in Suffolk, we've had several.
Yeah.
Very sad, very sad.
Just look
so what do you think could be done about that? You're like on a really pathetic level. I am now buying eggs from a local farm. It's just a start. And I'm also buying raw milk. Good. And I actually want to start a raw milk delivery round, although someone was telling me the other day that you're not allowed to do that. Otherwise, the raw milk police will... Yeah, I'll be got to raw milk prison, won't I? You go to milk prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
special prisons for people like you.
Yeah, milk prisons and guarded by cows and things, and it sounds all a bit much. So of course, you hear stuff like that, you go, oh yeah, I guess that's likely to crap, because like there's a charity shop here local to us, and it's got a lot of foot traffic. It really has, actually, and that's because most of the stuff in it is very old and therefore very good, and people want it. They don't want modern crap at all. It's fantastic. Retro is the new cool, and it's not about nostalgia. It's about value, and it's about anchoring things in the past and restoring all the good stuff. So I was looking. I was down there the other day, and I looked at it, and it's a converted old garage that sold cars, as garages did, and it used to serve petrol, and the petrol pump thing is still there, although the pumps are removed, but the canopy's there. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, well, once a week or something, we should have a big thing here selling eggs and raw milk for these people nearby, because I bet I could get several hundred customers within a couple of months. And yet I'm not allowed to sell the milk. But we need, I think, it's easy to say this, but we need a kind of consumer direct to farm organization, for want of a better word. We absolutely need it. I want it. I was going through what I actually need to eat, and I would have think most farm shops can supply just about everything that I need. And those that can't, I can learn to grow vegetables. I only need chicken and steak and eggs. Cows are absolutely king of everything, because without them, we haven't got cheeseburgers. And so life's not worth living, because they produce the cheese, don't they, and the burger. So I think cows are absolutely awesome. So I don't need much else than that. I don't think anybody else does, do they?
Paul, have you heard of an organisation called the People's Food and Farming Alliance?
Yes, I have, actually. Do they have a Telegram group? I think they might do, you know.
The PFFA. Yeah. I'm one of their coordinators, and not that I've done a lot with them the last few weeks, I was poorly, but they are in the process of working together. And there's another one called the Sustainable... I think it's sustainablenetwork.co.uk, something like that. I'll have to find that out and let them put it on. But the lass who's building that, it's a website network which farmers register on to say what they've got for sale. The public register to say where they are, and quite simply, it just locks the two people together. And it's so simple. And she's been building this for several months now, and she's got hundreds and hundreds of farmers, growers, and producers on it, all across the country. So
what's the website? Is it the Farmer Network, or is it the People's Food and Farming Alliance, right?
Yeah, the People's Food and
I've got it here.
Alliance.
I've got it here. I'm going to paste it into
sustainablenetwork.co.uk, I think, something like that.
All right, so it says it's time for a food revolution. Yes, it is. I'm completely on for that. So I'm just going to paste that in the YouTube chat here whilst we're talking, because I think that's really what's needed.
They're doing some amazing work. I mean, John, who's down in Swindon, he's one of their administrators and advisors as well, same as myself. And he sells raw milk at his gate down in Swindon. And they are mobbed with people all the time wanting milk. It's just crazy. He's at the end of a tiny, tiny little road, which is a dead end. And there's people up and down all day long to buy milk. It's just brilliant.
It is. Yes. It's because the milk is fantastic. My son just brought back 10 litres yesterday. We've got it all in. I'm running out of freezer space because we don't go through it quick enough, but it's just brilliant. And I know it almost seems like, what, you're going to change the world through milk? Yeah. Seriously.
And it lasts a long time, doesn't it? I mean, I found it lasts up to 5 days in the fridge.
It's about reconnecting us with one another and just cutting out this system. And I want, and it's obvious that they've got, if you look at it historically, I heard you just mentioning there, we talk about the Bolshevik Revolution. What is the thing that they attacked? Food.
That's the first thing.
They attack the people through food. Yeah.
And don't think there's going to be any difference in this country in the next 3 years.
Yes.
I don't.
No, just going to say about milk, about how long it lasts. I mean, raw milk, is that about right? 4 or 5 days, or am I drinking it too stout?
I would say raw milk should last longer than that.
Really?
Yeah. I'll keep mine up to a week.
Excellent. And I'm going there probably tomorrow or the next day. I go to a place called Delicious. And last time I mentioned their name, plug. I got things a bit ballsed up. So I'll correct it now. First of all, they're open from 7 in the morning. I think it's 7 till 6 at night. I said it's 24 hours. It isn't. So they close. So Paul Sod, someone went there and said, bloody Eric Von Essex bloke, he said that it's 24 hours. No, it isn't. So it's 7 till 6, and a litre of milk, I think, is £1.40, which is not bad.
Yeah, it's about right.
And eggs Well, I bought a dozen for £4.50, which I thought was bloody good value. And
right?
I've said this before. The white of the egg, where you get a supermarket egg, the white is like water, just goes everywhere. And I usually fry an egg on a grill, one of those electric grill things. But when you get a fresh egg, and it's an organic one, it's glutinous. The white is glutinous. It just stays there. And sorry, I'm doing all the sound effects there, but it's pure white, and it's a beautiful yellowy colour inside, how it should be. Marvellous, but it really is.
Don't be tricked into eggs, Chris, because I was on a show the other day with Anna down in Wales, and she's absolutely adorable. She runs a lovely little show. And we were talking about eggs coming in from China. And they're actually now manufacturing eggs in factories, not chicken eggs. They're manufactured eggs, which they are now selling to the UK.
Oh, my God.
And if you haven't seen, you need to look into this. Honestly, look into this on YouTube, and you will see it goes through the manufacturing process and how they make them with proteins and how they form the shell and everything. It's just, crack it, it looks like an egg. It's just got no goodness whatsoever.
Really?
But even the chickens on the farms, I mean, they feed them a thing called yolk white. And what was it? No, yolk bright. Sorry, not yolk white, yolk bright. And that's an orange dye component what they put into the chicken's feed, and it dyes the yolk of the egg orange, so you think you're getting a really high proteined egg.
Well, what I have noticed, you've got to be a bit careful. Now, this is not delicious, okay? They're near Ware in Hertfordshire. This is not delicious. There's another farm shop, which I will not mention the name, and I won't mention its location. And I noticed they sell barn eggs. Now, to me, a barn egg is not an organic, natural one. Well, because what they're feeding those chickens on.
Now, there's an interesting thing here because of bird flu, this terrible disease what attacks, 1 in every 20 million birds. So they slaughter thousands and tens of thousands of birds a year because of it. It's bullshit. But that aside, again, Anna and I were talking about this the other day, and you can go 16 weeks if you're a farmer and you have to lock your birds up, and they're not allowed to roam free as free-range eggs. You can have them 16 weeks in a shed before you have to say they're barn-laid eggs rather than free-range eggs.
Bloody hell.
Oh, it's a farce. Farming in this country's become bollocks. Excuse my French, everybody, but it's just bollocks.
Well, I was talking before we came on air about a great tidal wave, apparently, I don't know how true this is, of OAPs and people generally migrating from the UK to Hungary. And one of the advantages of Hungary is their food is more natural. You will get more of a more chance of having organic food there than you would here.
Yeah,
obviously it's not an island and it's on a continent, but the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. But who knows?
We've got friends coming over on Saturday for a barbecue, and partner's Nigerian, like my partner is, and the other partner, his wife is she's Romanian, and they eat loads and loads of proper, what we deem as proper food, hams, long life sausages, chutneys, meats. Oh, it's just proper. To have a party with them is just mwah!
Yeah, that's the thing. It's natural things that are actually. I mean, a chicken should be pulling up worms and eating all kinds of bits and bobs around a farmyard, and Chris, that's what makes the egg.
We put 49. Now, I'm not. We were going to have 50, but it states on the government website, on DEFRA's website, that if you have 50 birds, you have to register them. Now, I know we had a conversation before where they were saying you've got to register every bird. It doesn't say that on the website. It still says that it's suggested to register under 50 birds, compulsory over 50. So we've got 49 turkeys for Christmas. We've got one turkey who identifies as a fox. He's in there to keep an eye on the others. So we've got 49 turkeys and one fox. So it's all good. Now, what I was going to say is I've built a polytunnel frame on a wooden base, and this thing's fucking brilliant, I have to say. It's got the ends all open. They're just wide with a door in one end, and it's got a plastic sheet at the top, and the ends are open, and it's on grass. And when they've ate the grass that day, you just move it to new grass the next day. So they're kind of free range, and they're kind of in the shed. But every day they get fresh grass, and you just move the thing along each day, twice a day, whatever you need to do. And they are loving it. They're putting on so much weight. They're right little porkers. One of them fell over the other day, and I had to pick him up.
And I suppose it's fox-proof as well, isn't it? Because the foxes
Absolutely.
can't get in.
Yeah, can't get in. It's completely to the ground. The ends are about an inch off the ground, and the rest of it is on sledge skis. So you just move it along. It's brilliant. Just move it around the paddock on it. And you can see where they've stripped all the grass out.
The place where this war is supposed to be going on in Ukraine, some people say it is the actual food basket of Europe, but you have proven that you do not need fertilizers and stuff to grow good quality food. So, you've proved it.
Chris, I'll tell you something else. On the 13th of October, I'm a bit excited about this because friends of mine have just launched a company in the UK to start Electroculture. Have you come across this?
Passing electric current through the earth to get the vegetables to go really happy. Makes vegetables love a bit of electricity up them.
Absolutely. So these guys have been out to Italy. They've been learning from the guy who's like a god in this. He grows potatoes at -4 degrees in the mountains, and he says, well, it's all to do with the electricity. So they've now got, and we're the first test case in the UK on our farm to take this on. So I'm massively excited, and we've got a barbecue. If anyone wants to come, if you guys want to come along, and anyone else wants to be here to see that taking place, 13th of October, throwing a barbecue on at the farm.
Make a note of that. 13th of October. I'll make a note of that.
I know Richard Vobes is coming up for that, and various different people are coming from all over the country.
Is that a Sunday? Is that a Sunday? It is, isn't it?
I think it is. Yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, that would have to be a live show from the barbecue then.
Oh, absolutely.
Whereabouts is that? Is that in Suffolk?
It is, yes.
And what time will it start, roughly?
That's 11 till 3.
Oh, I might make it, actually. I'm going to be up north the day before. So when I get up Sunday morning, I'm going to still be very, very drunk. So what I'll probably do is drive as quickly as I possibly can, because you don't want to be drunk and driving, do you? So the best thing to do is go as fast as possible, and then you can get off the road quickly and not be a menace to all the other drivers. Right. That's always been my put your foot down, officer, because I want to get off the road. I could be a menace. I might be able to make that. That could be, that would be interesting.
It's going to be, I've been doing some study into this, and it's just mind-blowing. And, and I'm sure that, they've suppressed this information for some time, and I kind of started looking at it and thought, oh, yes, right, you just, get some copper wires and put it in the ground, and that's gone. No, this is an absolute freaking science. And I've been digging into it. And the guy, Andrea, the Italian guy who's been working on this for years now, they've got hundreds upon hundreds of clients all across Europe, from pig farmers to grape vineyards to big players that are all working on this philosophy of this electricity coming from the atmosphere into the ground and electrifying the ground. And it's mind-blowing, the results they get. They've been doing a test case up in Attleborough, just outside, in between Norwich and Thetford, near me. And they've got potatoes at 1.7 metres tall. The potato plants are 1.7 metres tall. And they've got an abundant... And I was like, as a farmer, I'm going, they're all top, no bottom. Don't worry about that. There's nothing under them. No, there's loads under them. I was gobsmacked. There's just like a proper big potato. And I'm like, but it defies everything I know as a farmer. They've put on no fertilizer. All they've done's, they've made nice soil for the ground. They've put the wires in the ground. They've put the salt, the crystal stones across it. They've put the antenna up into the sky. They bring in the electric, and it's just brilliant. I love it. It's just something different, isn't it?
Yeah,
is this something? This must be something, I would think, maybe, possibly, that we could roll out into our own garden spaces.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, the test case in Attleborough, that's exactly what the two guys are doing who have launched the business. So we've got Francesco and Andrew they'd come on and talk about it on the show, Chris. I know they would, because they're desperate to start talking about it and getting the information out there.
Please let them on. And the thing is, actually, I'm just wondering, because what I've found with YouTube, we can't have more than, say, 3 or 4 on, because the screen gets really jumbled. And also you've got the censorship as well. But there's the Sunday show, which is radio.
Yeah.
So, although will they show photographs? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean they have been doing on some of the stuff. I mean, it's just, and I can't emphasize enough. I get so excited about it, because for me, as a farmer and as a horticulturalist, you know, it's all about having good soil. And you know, bear in mind, I'm on the farm where we got 90 acres here, and predominance of the farm is all rape and pillage soil. It's got zero fucking goodness in it. And then we've got our veg beds where we started growing last year, which has now gone from 5% goodness. We're up at 62% goodness in a year. And they're now coming along and saying, we need to lay these stones, we need to lay these wires, we need to put these in the bottoms of the beds. This is how we're going to change it. This antenna's going here. And I'm like, get in. I love it.
So is it basically pulling, is it like pulling the energy out of the ether? Is that what it's doing?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Right.
I say 13th of October. If you guys want to come along, please feel free.
I've got diary here. So where is it in Suffolk? I mean, do we go to Suffolk and go?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it, because I was out having evening supper with Richard Vobes the other week, and I know a whole group down here that maybe want to come up as well, because he's local. He lives like 600 yards away from where I'm sat right now. Well, half a mile, something like that. So, and I know he's been banging on about becoming a farmer, and we're all looking at him and going, well, but if it's this sort of farming, well, yeah, you know, it's a difficult thing to change into later on in life, to be quite, you know, I'm just being fair about it. It's a challenge. It's not.
Well, Richard's coming to that. I'm with Richard Sunday night in Burnley, doing a talk. So yeah, we've got
Burnley.
But yeah, that's I'm looking forward to the 13th. Is going to be an absolute big thing. So there's loads of people coming to it. So Chris, I'm not going to give the address out on air, but what I'll do is I'll PM you. So you know, if you guys want to come.
And also with advertising, I found it's always better to do it at the last moment, because people forget.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I fully understand that. And the other thing I was going to say, am I right in saying that with this electroculture, it was actually first started in the 18th century?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's been going for several hundred years. But
what people don't know is that, and you guys may know this, but the Blackpool Tower, the Eiffel Tower, are some of the towers what were originally set up to recharge the helium balloons. So helium balloons were attached to them to regas and to regenerate the electricity they required. Yeah, there's pictures of it all over YouTube if you dig deep enough.
But there's one problem. Government, whatever happens, when anything happens like this, now there was almost...
We're going to get them, Chris. Forget them. We're going to get them.
Say, the government always put a stick of shit in. And we was talking about this last night, and I've actually seen people talking about this electroculture, saying, looking at datum points, and said, oh yes, they were used in the Victorian times to plug things into to get the ether from the sky. No, they're bleeding Newlyn datum points, which surveyors use. I've actually used it when I did a little bit of surveying around the city of London. They're very useful, and all it is like a plate with like 3 lines, one going up, one going left, one going right, with a number underneath, which is the height above sea level. And Newlyn was the data, which was supposed to be 0. And the Victorians used to do that, but they're nothing to do with pulling in the ether, and nothing whatsoever to do with electricity. But when I saw it, I almost fell off my seat with laughter. But I'm pretty sure it's probably a government agency that's putting that out and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into churches pre 1066, a lot of the churches what were built early doors were not churches. They weren't churches till after 1066. They were healing centres. And they used the ether to use that, you know, through the bell tower and so forth. And, you know, that's why the bells were changed, because they changed the tone of the bells because it healed people, the light what came in.
That's right.
You know, when you walk into, I mean, we went to our cathedral the other day, and all the hair on the back of my neck stands up when I walk through the door because of the silicon. So, you know, it's all made of flint. So the silicon obviously, you know, charges the electricity, what's coming in from the sky. And it just, all your hair stands up and it's just like, wow. I love it in there because you get a real buzz when, you know, you come out.
Well, that's it. I mean, well, it's a bit like Waltham Abbey. Now, Miles Fleetwood, Dr. Fleetwood, good mate of mine, we try and drag him on the show. His shop, you can actually see the Abbey from his shop. He is just off. It's really quaint. And when you go near that Abbey, there's a beautiful feeling. You walk through the gardens. There's a nice energy there. I don't know about Waltham Abbey. It probably was. I think Harold's supposed to be. Is King Harold supposed to be buried there? One of them is. But shall we have a quick shufty in chat, because the people in chat are desperate, I think, to get some info. So we got here. When people stop voting, then justice will be served on all politicians. And Suko says, "Hello, Paul." So hello, Paul. And we've got hundreds get booked. All going to plan for a one world government. Yes, I think you're right there. Yes. Now, hello, Hachi, Screwfix now deliver within 60 minutes. Can't get better than that. Hi, all. Yes, you were very disappointed, weren't you, Hachi, because you thought Screwfix was a dating agency, but it isn't. Anyway, by the way, for those of you in America, Screwfix is a DIY. They sell tools and things, you know. Now, Louis said 100% fact, yes. Then we got here the stopping... this is Louise Wilcox again. The stopping of 25% cut for singles. This is in the housing, what's the name, tax, council tax, for singles, is to try to push them into taking in lodgers, because we all want strangers in our homes. Yes.
Some of them are very strange.
Yeah, precisely. Now we got here. What we got? That is sad. These people make my blood boil. Yep, certainly do. I love in Blackpool, Lancashire. I think you love and you live in. That's nice. You love and live in Blackpool. That's very nice. Lancashire. That's funny. We thought it was in Yorkshire. Yes, how to lose listeners. No, well, you know it's in Lancashire. I'm not sure, without travelling miles, where to get some good fruit and veg. The council's got rid of our market. There is a great butcher's nearby. Well, the thing is, I'm lucky because I've got within easy distance. I've got, there's quite a few places around where I live. But it's in Hertfordshire. I don't know. Anybody live up in Lancashire near Blackpool might be able to advise Sue there. Now he said here.
Tell us to go on the People, Food and Farming Alliance website, and there's a place on there you can join to find information out. So there's so much information just starting to be put together through some of these organisations of where people can buy. Obviously, from my side, I'm a greengrocer and a grower, and we have, I've got to tell you a funny. While I remember, guys, I must tell you, we've got a little shop on our farm, and 3 people came into the shop, and it's a trust shop. It's a full kitted out shop in a container. It has everything from fresh meat to milk and everything, you can imagine, fruit and veg, everything. And 3 people came in Saturday thinking that the cameras were dummies and stole a load of stuff. So we obviously got their pictures and put them on the Facebook page locally. And it took 12 minutes to have all 3 of them identified and to have their addresses.
Excellent.
This is the level of retards you have to deal with.
Let me ask you, what is it? There's a certain part of East Anglia where, when I went there, no, actually, I think it's up in Lincolnshire, where all the people seem to wear 1970s brown flared trousers and 1960s anoraks and seem to be slightly retarded. So,
it sounds quite exciting to me. Sounds like a groovy place.
It's near Boston, I think it was.
I was going to say, it's got to be Lincolnshire.
What is it about Boston?
No one's opened a new shop up there since, that's why.
God knows. But now we got here, Louise Wilcox has said, hope you and Bud are good. How's Ancient Ruby doing? No, we haven't heard from Ancient Ruby. And also Cat. Where's Cat gone? Cat and Ancient Ruby are not on the chat. I don't know what's happened to them. And we got Sean Hamer. Hi, Chris. And We got Louis Wilcox and him. I've not heard anything on Ruby, correct? Are you old enough to remember Freddie Parrotface? Yes. You probably won't remember Freddie Parrotface. Do you remember him? Anybody?
No.
Paul?
Yes, I do.
Thick up to here. Yeah.
He had...
Right.
Yes.
Yes. He blew raspberries all the time.
He blew a lot of raspberries.
Now, Sean Hamer said some raw food advocates claim that the protein myth is the root of cause of most disease.
It is.
Because I have a high protein.
Shall I tell you why that is, Chris?
Why?
Glyphosate, which they use as a weed killer on crops, the glyphosate changes the natural protein in the wheat on barley. It changes the constitution of it. So when you've used glyphosate on it, the protein then spikes really high, and that's what people become allergic to. So when people say I'm allergic to gluten, 9 times out of 10 they're actually not. It's actually they're allergic to the protein because it's been changed by the weed killers they've used. Roundup is the worst one, obviously, and that's where they all derive from Roundup. Allegedly,
because we're on YouTube. Allegedly. It's such a nice thing, isn't it? Oh, marvelous! Oh, what? I think the directors drink it every day in their tea, don't they? And they got here. I've got to say this because we're on YouTube. So, but my bullshit amateurs go. Hatchie, glad you're okay. Hope Ruby's okay. I've not heard of Parrotface. We're old enough. That's why. So you got to be ancient like me. And well, I say Paul.
I'm reasonably ancient. Semi-ancient.
Mark Angie's asked you a question. Yes, I'm sort of ancient. Is it copper wire they use, Mark?
It is. But what I will say is it's very ruddy technical on how you put it in the ground, and you use copper to get the electric into the ground, but you use galvanized wire to travel it along the ground. And you actually bury the galvanized wire underground.
Oh.
I can't wait. Sounds I mean, copper wire and galvanized wire can't cost too much, can they?
Nope.
Currently,
well,
no pun intended.
You get that in wicks. Yeah.
Wicks? You mean wicks?
By the way, it's good. As your tomatoes, my tomatoes are growing up bloody whoopee. It's good year for tomatoes.
Yeah, it's strange, Chris, because they started off really poor in the beginning of the year. Everything did. But everything's made a really long and hard and fucking fast comeback.
I found that, yeah. It's going like, I got the plum tomatoes, and because I'm a tight-fisted git, what I do every year is I go to the supermarket. I like these, and I just save the seed and grow them from seed. That's really tight-fisted.
So, do you think,
the site.
Oh yeah. Do you think well, you know of, even though none of us were alive at the time, but we know of the Dig for Victory thing, during World War II, the allotments and all that kind of stuff. Isn't that something that we really need to tap into? Because obviously, if it's a bit of galvanized wire and some copper, and we get the nous on how to do it, is it also, Mark, something that is enhanced by having a greenhouse? I mean, if you were to use that tech and have a greenhouse at the same time, are you going to be doing even better? Would it help?
I've not seen that side of it, to be honest. It's something what I'm going to put into my polytunnel. We've got a big polytunnel going up in the next few weeks, but this is something. It's bizarre because the guys who are doing the training course for me on it, just to give you an idea, if chickens are fed, is that the right word for water? But the water they're given, if that's charged with the electric current, they'll lay 2 eggs a day and not one.
What about if we drink that water? What about if we drink that water?
I don't even go there, mate. Just because I'll tell you what, it's going to be worse than even the Shilligan gummy bears. I tell you.
It might not, It might make us a highly energized it might make us a highly energized and physical combative people once more. We might get rid of all this that's all over us. Who knows? Yeah. So we could just become an electric people, literally. I quite like the idea of that.
I must say that, there's a lot to be said for, I was feeling poorly a few weeks ago, and the first thing which Andrew, my health coach, said to me, get your shoes off and go and walk around the field on the grass. And that's the first thing I did, was I got my shoes and socks off and went and just instantly within about half an hour, just like, wow, I just feel alive again, you know, just that energy going through you. And, you know, because we're so used to having either rubber under our feet or nylon under our feet, you know, we don't have anything natural around us anymore. That's the problem, you know, it's all, nothing's cotton or wool, is it? It's, you know, it's all bloody nylon fibers and, you know, and this is a problem now, you know, what we eat is wrong, what we breathe is wrong, what we drink is wrong. You know, not so much for me. I'm fortunate that my partner is well up on health and nutrition. So, you know, I get it drilled into me. But, you know, there's a lot of people, majority of the country, and I wouldn't say just our country either. We're seeing it across the world, obviously. You know, people are eating shite, drinking shite, dressing shite. You know, they've been taught shite. Everything in their life is shite. And that's why people accept that, oh, it's just shit, isn't it?
That's right.
No, it ain't. You're lucky to be alive.
We're not, but we're not designed to keep just sort of like chickens are pecking and animals just getting food all day. Not all. We are designed to go for a fair period without food. Look at that tribe in Africa. They're fantastic. I can't think of their name. They're really slim, very short, and they will hunt an animal all day. And they got some athletic runners, Europeans, and they were absolutely flaked out. They just could not keep up with them, and they're just warming up. A bushman, the Kalahari bushman. That's it. Unbelievable, absolutely incredible people, and very friendly, very nice. But about Nathan. Hello, Nathan. If you want to come on, just say yes, because the thing is with YouTube, we can't have too many people on the screen because it gets a bit confusing. But as Paul's not got his camera on, we can have another one. So, and I'm not sure Patrick's coming on at all. So there we go. Hope you don't feel left out, mate. So I made it. Hi, everyone. So hello, Nathan. And remember, Nathan's written a book, bloody good book. Bloody good book.
What?
So, Fake Awake. And yes, and it was on last night's show, Sunday's show. So don't go to it now, just after the show, go over to it. And it's on my Rumble show, because on the Sunday show we can say words like tit and bum and get away with it, where we couldn't get away with it on YouTube.
What's up now, Christopher?
I've said it up smack, you know. There. Got it. Many buildings used to have copper roof points to conduct electrical energy.
Imagine.
Yes.
It's just like they don't want us to know something.
We got here. Eric Von Esses, you mean Screwfix isn't a dating agency? Oh, no. Better take my comments back then. Oh, Mrs. That's a crap dating agency. You know, I got details, and all I could find is things about screwdrivers and electric drills. And
well, to be fair, at least you can ask for the length of screw you want.
Well, I went in there the other week and said, "Excuse me," to the lady assistant. I said, "Could I have a 12-inch screw, please?" And she smacked me around the face. You know, I don't know, but right.
My daughter works in Screwfix, so I guess that's probably her.
Now, reconciliation. Is that Patrick by any chance? I heard the electro farming thing from the show Frederick C. Blackburn did a couple of months ago on RBN. Because reconciliation is also a farmer. See, so that's it. So there we go. And then we got Suko. Suko said the People's Food and Farm Alliance. Is that the one? Thanks.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, the PFFA.
And Paul's just backed it up. Yep. And then reconciliation says, I remember seeing a John Waters movie with an actress named Hatchet Face. That's interesting. It was an appropriate name. Yes. Well, she have a face like a smacked ass. And he said, the film was Crybaby with Johnny Depp. So that's interesting. So I think we'll go back to chat. We've got a lot in chat at the moment, but I think we caught up a little bit there, a little bit later. So this it sounds brilliant. I wonder if it purifies water. I know that copper can help you.
Yeah, and not only will it purify, it'll charge it as well.
Interesting.
Because this is honestly, you guys need to come and just hear what they've got to say and witness what we're doing and how we put the beds together, because the beds have to face...
I've got it down, Mark. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to be leaving Leeds probably about, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock on Sunday morning to get down there. I think it'll take about 3 hours to get to Suffolk.
Yeah, it's a good 3.5 hours to us from Leeds, I reckon.
Right.
Is anybody podcasting there? I suppose Richard might be podcasting, will he? Or...
Yeah, Richard's coming down to document it with a guy called Nick from London who's got his own channel and different people. So I think Chris Brooks is coming over from LSB Productions, and yeah, we've got quite a few people coming. It's going to be a good awakened day, let's say.
Can we get some organic food there as well?
There will be organic food. The meat is all from local suppliers, which is on the barbecue. We've got all our own grown vegetables. All the chookies are local. You can even come and pick a turkey.
Well, once you go along to the field, I'll go, no, not me, no, okay. But do you know they used to, in the, I think it was the Amazon tribes. No, not Amazon tribes. When the settlers first went to America, Indians used to bury a fish and something else to help the maize grow. Now I was thinking, it's a shame to kill an innocent fish. Can we put an MP down there? I mean, as it rots away, it could get all the nourishment from the because there's plenty of MPs that we could use for that, couldn't we? I mean, they're pretty useless anyway.
Listen, you have to be careful.
Put to good use. It helped to save the planet, wouldn't it?
Be careful what you sound so media about MPs, because I had the police turn up at mine.
Really? I'm joking. Really joking. Yes, I am joking. Sorry. Really?
I had the police turn up at mine when the going out MP who's just left our Conservative MP, the lovely Jo Churchill, she voted against the children getting free school meals. So I posted on Facebook saying, does anyone want to come with me to deliver this free dinner service to Jo Churchill? And of course there was hundreds of comments, and 2 police officers turned up and the first one says to me, he says, this is over something you posted on Facebook. And I said, I'm so sorry. And he said, what are you sorry for? I said, I genuinely thought that the Facebook police were made up. He said, but here you are. and he said, no, we're not from Facebook. He said, we're from Suffolk Constabulary. I said, well, hang on a minute. I said, let me get this right. So you're not working for the MP? He said, no, we work for Suffolk County Council. I said, so why is Suffolk County Council enforcing Facebook? Who do you work for? And I just got them so tongue-tied. In the end, they left.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Well, again, it's Stalin did that, didn't he? He
wasn't on Facebook though, Eric, was he?
Prisons up. I think he was on Facebook.
I don't think he was. I remember he got his account banned or something. I don't know.
Yes. You never know. I think they'd ask about face in those days, didn't they? Something like that.
He'd have been right. If he was on X, he'd have got his account back anyway.
But Louise says here, I'm really interested in the electrical farming. Gives a whole new meaning to electrified fences. Yeah, that's. Have you seen that cartoon on the far side where you see all the cows standing around an electric fence, and there's one cow bouncing up and down the electric fence, and then there's the farmer with the power switch just about to push it on. Bit difficult to explain that one, but now it says here, thanks Paul, found one near Preston, a bit of a trip, but they do better than eating supermarket rubbish. I 100% agree with you. Now it says here, Paul sounds like Matt Berry. Who's Matt Berry? This baby with a laser. Do you, Paul?
Matt Berry?
Yeah,
is Matt Berry the guy who's Toast of London? You'll have to write in here. Is that who you mean? That's not a bad compliment of his. Yeah, I think it's Matt Berry. Isn't that Matt Berry? He had a comedy series which is extremely fruity. Let's put it that way. It's a little bit beyond the pale at times. It's rather vulgar. And he's a voiceover artist. Have you not seen it? It's very funny. He's surrounded by all these limp-wristed faggots and stuff like this. Oh, I can't say that either. Toast of London, marvellous. Yeah, it's very, very good. And he has an enemy called Ray Purchase. That's bloody Ray Purchase. Yeah. So anyway, you quite like it, Eric. It's kind of up your street. It's very vulgar, right? I'm just letting everybody know. It really is sort of extremely vulgar at times, which of course is
up his street.
yeah, it's right up your bloody street, Eric. And he does voiceovers, and the best one is, you need to go and look it up on YouTube, where he's given this script to record, and it's just one word, and the word is yes, and they get him to record this word. It's very funny. Yes. Can you put a bit more into it? What? It's really bad. Yes, like this. It's very. You'd need to. It's very good. Parts of it are very good. It's a bit hit and miss. When it misses wide. But when it hits, it's pretty good. So yeah.
The best things in life are free. I agree with that. And grounding is a perfect example. By the way, do you know you can get grounding socks now? See, I wear barefoot shoes, and barefoot shoes. They are the most comfortable shoes you could ever wish to wear, and I've got barefoot boots for the winter as well. Except for when it gets really cold, then I have to wear the sort of boots I normally have. But you can get barefoot socks, and they give you the grounding apparently because they've got metal in them or something. Have you heard of them?
Yeah,
exclusive. But yeah.
Is it basically going barefoot anywhere, Mark? Is that if I'm near the beach, so if I go barefoot on the beach, that'll be good for my electricity, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because the silicon will bring it through.
Concrete is pretty good as well. If you stand on concrete, that can actually earth you as well. I mean, I actually go barefoot as long as I can. I mean, I don't when it's raining.
Are you barefoot now, Eric?
No, because my feet.
Because of the smell, really.
Feet were a bit cold earlier, but apart from that,
right?
No, I'm barefoot around the house normally. I just put shoes on, slippers on.
So what you're saying, Eric, is that when no one's looking, you're a damn hippie. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I did do one year because I'm so used to it. I went round to post a letter, and as soon as I got to the post box, I realised I didn't have any shoes on. And I thought, oh, fucker. And I had some acupuncture done, and Miles was trying to distract my attention because he had to put the needles in the soles of my feet. And another patient he has goes, he doesn't like it, you see. Although he's incredibly skilled, you don't feel a thing. And I'm sitting there, and he's trying to distract my attention. He goes, boom. He didn't even flinch because the skin on the sole of my feet is like leather. It's because I walk around barefoot. But obviously, if I go shopping or anything like that, I don't. Certainly around the house and that. So
your feet have kind of more. You've got feet like a hobbit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What happens? Your toes start to spread out. When you take your shoes off, your toes are like that, and then they gradually spread out over a few weeks. And how they should be, your toes should be open and spread out like that, and they're not. And your gait sort of alters as you walk along.
Yeah. So I guess maybe you end up with the same sort of qualities as a weeble. You can't fall over. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Not like my turkeys. They fall over because they're so bloody fat.
Are they? Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing, Mark, that they're so fat?
Well, I think the problem is they're on 24-hour food supply, so plus they're on grass, so they're getting lots of goodness into them. And I was in there the other day, and I was like, "They're all right, little fat bastards, really."
And of course, they understand every word you're saying.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
They're looking at you, shaking their heads, going, "Who the bloody hell's this?" Yeah.
I go in every
Some
morning,
of them are a bit aggressive, aren't they?
And talk to them nicely.
Really?
Yeah.
Can they get aggressive though? Turkeys, do they? No.
No, I think it's all in the breeding. It's a bit like bringing up kids, isn't it? If you're nice to the kids and you treat them respectfully and you teach them right from wrong, they behave themselves. And the turkeys are no different. Every morning I go in, I talk to them nicely, I give them a rub on the head, pick them up and make a fuss of them all, and all 49 plus the fox. And then there's no issues, when you walk in, they're all looking up at you like little children.
Really?
Easy.
And it's. I mean, they're ugly little. I shouldn't
No,
say this, but they're ugly bastards, isn't it? I mean, what
Chris,
is it
they're
about
not.
with
They
animals?
are,
Why are
mate,
turtles so ugly?
Listen, you come down on the 13th and you go in. You are going to be amazed how friendly they are.
Yeah, you might even fall in love with one, Eric.
Well,
it could
that's
be very.
Bertie's likely to pull, Paul.
That's you. I'll set them up, Mark, and you knock them down. All right.
Well, I think it's my approach to women. Before giving them a kiss, go, oh, hello, darling. And I think is that off-putting? I just don't understand. Where am I going wrong? Perhaps that's it. And
it's that caveman approach. Lump of 4x2 always works.
Tell Nathan I'm not the Sue Co he thought I was. I live in Lancashire. It was last Monday's show. It was from last Monday's show. Oh, okay. So hello, Sue, not the Sue we thought you were. Now we got here reconciliation says many roofs had lead tiles as well. Yes, and the old thing in the I think it was up to about 60, 70 years ago. People used to go around nicking lead off the roofs. That was quite a crime.
Absolutely,
nicking lead off a roof. Yeah,
and that's why they got rid of lead paint, because it was good at conducting the electricity.
Oh, now that's interesting, and also getting rid of people you don't like. Yeah, go and lick the paint. Yeah, there's a little book. Go and lick the paint. Yeah, but yes. Now it says here an experiment with infants, which supplied on group with excellent nutrition and no physical emotional attention. The other group were fed crap food and given attention. The latter fared better. Yes, it's interesting. Good evening, inmates. That's life, but not as we know it. And we've got here Sean Heyman says we get most of the energy we need from the oxygen we breathe. That's interesting. What area of the room is the warmest? The corner is always about 90 degrees. Oh, God.
Hey, that's that's a dad joke. That's a Christmas cracker joke. That is blood.
That's a clack. But I still think, was it that's life as we know it? Saying, what was it? The Picasso joke. Do you remember that one the other week?
Yes.
What artist has got a brown finger? Picasso. Sorry. Gives me the giggles, that one. Just get booked. If I had electricity, I'd lay 3 eggs a day. Now,
but speaking of electricity and aliveness, there's the story of that. I think more than one person, but I remember reading a report of some woman, I think it was in Russia. This is a long time back. And she didn't eat at all. She didn't eat. Of course, she died after a few days. No, she'd been alive for years. And she just drank water, but she didn't eat anything at all, like for 25 years. It's absolutely fine.
Airtarians, aren't they?
Yeah, or breatharians. So they're just drawing. They must connect into the ether. They must be at some sort of sophisticated physiological development or something. Maybe they pull it in through the pineal gland or something. Maybe I don't know, but because I like eating and everything, but bloody hell, they're washing up. All right, my mum used to say that. She said, "I really like the food, but after doing this for 40 years, I'm sick of it." You're going, yeah, I can see your point. You can it'd be great to just be able to go, yeah, I don't have to eat for about 3 or 4 years. I'm just going to have a break from all that washing up and having to go to the supermarket or having to go to the farm and buy everything, of course. That'd be quite nice just to have a break from it every now and again.
Well, your food bill goes down when you're on this, what I'm on, which is change of lifestyle, which is like a caveman diet. Some people call it the keto diet. But that is you eat a big hearty meal in the morning, as I said earlier in the show, with as much protein as you can. And then that does you, and then I have a very, very light salad snack about 4 o'clock, and that's it. And I go 16 hours without eating. And you fast and when you're in bed, you're losing. I lost 0.5 stone in a week, And you notice I'm a little bit, and I can get into trousers now. I couldn't get into before, but now, my trousers keep falling down. It's a bit like the old joke, isn't it? Sorry, the old rhyme that Spike Milligan said. My name is Fickelstein. I walk around the town, sometimes with my trousers up and sometimes with them down. When they're up, and when they're down, I get arrested. So that was a Spike Milligan jokes. Right. Food is a big con, Sean Hamer. We need some sustenance, but we have been marinated in burnt offerings for too long. Yes, and Sean has said, cheers, mate. Apologies on phone. Be back in 10. Oh, okay then. Right-o. Then Nathan says, the world is not the earth. We can live free and healthy on the earth, but the world can only live in us. Interesting. Suko, no problem, Sue. Thanks for letting me know. So if we call Suko, not that Suko in future. Right. When I had horses, reconciliation, when I had horses, I put a bar of copper ingot in their water tank to prevent algae from growing in it. Yes, that's interesting.
The American cowboys, they used to keep a silver dime in their flask bottles, so the water never went off.
Yep.
Yes, so, that's why if you buy a silver sovereign, it's a good idea to put it in your drink, because they're reasonably cheap, about 40 quid, I think. Yeah. So now, sorry on the electric soup. Well, I'm not sorry. Okay. Yes, Toast of London, laugh out loud. And it's got here, now it says here, are your toes webbed yet, Chris? Almost, yes. When I meet you in Miles, I'll show you my carbuncle. How about that, Talking about feet, of course. Yeah, I think Aunt Sally's interested in chiropody, because I often see Aunt Sally in Miles's place. Now we got here. Why can't your nose be 12 inches long? This is life that's life not as we know it, because then it would be a foot. I'll see myself out. Yes.
I like that. That's good. Yes. That's two jokes. That's two dad jokes that can also go into Christmas crackers. That's pretty good.
A man had an old fella that's 12 inches long, but he didn't use it as a roll. Sorry, it's an awful one. I think I've said that as clean as possible.
That guy, you can't put that in. That shocked the children out of the Christmas cracker. That have to go in the X-rated Christmas cracker sales pile. That'd be
as he wired them turkeys up. Laugh out loud. Now, I once met a turkey farmer. Lucky you. And he told me that he raised them from eggs. I think that's where turkeys come from. I asked, how did you get attached to them and not bump them off for Christmas? So,
well, mine know they're going at Christmas.
Do they?
There's not many vegans where I live.
How do they know, though? Have you asked them?
I told them. Right, yeah. You've got to talk to them. You've got to tell them what's going on so there's no surprises, because it tightens the meat otherwise. They've got to know what's going on. You've got to say to them, look, guys, you need to put some weight on, and here's the reason, because you're going to become as Christmas dinner. So, let's just cut to the chase, because, you have to talk nicely to the vegetables to get them to grow. My partner, she's fell asleep now, but if she was awake, she'd tell you, she goes up to the veg bed and she sits and talks to the tomato plants, and when she's tying them up and things, she talks to them, and she's going to pick you now, and keeps them informed on what's going on, and they give you a better response. They're all living.
That's nice.
Yeah, my tomatoes are really doing well this year. They really are. And I tell you what, I water them with banana skins. I put them in water, leave them for about a week, and then I water them with banana water. And
really,
they're really sweet.
Do you know the best thing to water them with, Chris?
A wee.
Stinging nettles and comfrey. Put stinging nettles and comfrey in your water butt.
Do that.
And dip that all over them. They'll love that.
Well, I did actually mix
high nitrogen.
I think it's 20% wee and the rest water. But the trouble is, it attracts the flies, so I stopped doing that. But that is a very good. That is actually that's an old-fashioned way of. Was it comfrey and stinging nettles?
Yeah, comfrey and stinging nettles. If you put them into a water butt, and then after they've if the water will go black, then you have to then water it down. Don't put it on neat because it'll burn them. But it's really high nitrogen, so if you water plants with it, they just go whoosh.
Thank you for the tip.
It's one of the things we're building into the electroculture side.
Oh,
how to put goodness in the ground, how to use natural fertilizers, how to use the electricity, and suddenly your plants you'll get up to 10 times the yield.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I'm growing my celery. What I do, I buy celery from the supermarket.
Yes.
Leave the sun. Hello, and that as well, and I put it in a jam jar of rainwater first of all for about a week or two. When it starts to grow some roots, I'll stick it in a flower pot and shove it in my greenhouse. I'm not sure it's the right time of the year, but it seems to grow all right. And it's gorgeous. It's very peppery and very nice. The celery you get from supermarkets tastes like stringy water. It's crap.
Oh, it's just shite. Yeah, hydroponics is not the way forward.
Yes,
because unfortunately, you're not going to know how it's grown or where it's grown or nothing else. So, bad idea. It's a bit like eating the bugs.
Yes, which has got what's that? Is it something? It's got something in it which is carcinogenic. Yeah. The bugs. Now we got here. Hereditary Getfoot said he has some stories working at a turkey farm in the 70s after school. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yeah, and we got here the farmer. He said told me that one year there was a solitary turkey left. He kept it as a pet and said it was the best damn guard dog he ever had.
Yeah,
he had a shrine grave for it, and then she goes on to say he cried when it died.
I'll tell you what's the best guard dogs. Geese. We've got 2 geese what nurse themselves outside our bedroom window at night. We're in a bungalow thing, and they're outside the bedroom window. And if anything on the farm moves, they go mental.
Really, and they will attack as well.
Oh yeah, well that's what the Romans used them for. The Romans used them as guard dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think a pet from a goose is pretty unpleasant.
Oh yeah, they're nasty. I'll tell you what, if she's on the nest and he's protecting her, man, he's vicious. Vicious.
Yeah. That is the natural way it is. That the man protects the woman. And that's why.
Well, not in Brighton so much these days, because it's like my mate rang me last night. He's out in Catalonia, I think it is at present, and they've got a Pride Week out there. And he's been sending me some of the videos back and he's not that kind of person. He says, I didn't know it was going to be like that when I booked it. He was most
anyway, swiftly moving on.
Yeah, and we got here. What is it? I needed money because I had none.
Hey, listen, no one's judging you.
Sorry that. Now it says here, Louise says, answering the best guard dogs I ever knew were actually geese. That's right.
Yeah.
They were terrifying. Yeah. Do they bond with humans very well, or are they still moody little sods?
No, they will. I mean, Gloria takes her out and feeds them. Like she's got them eating out of her hand. They just love her.
Yeah,
but they can be vicious bastards.
I feel really good when I don't eat for 3 or 4 days. And do you remember when? Did you know a pensioner went to met Keir Starmer, and she said, "I haven't eaten for 3 days," and he said, "You really must force yourself." Sorry, no, not a very good one. And
did you see that bit on there earlier, Chris? There was Starmer said to he's like someone said, she said, "I struggled home with the shopping today. It's took me 2 hours to walk home from the supermarket with these 2 bags of shopping." He said, "But I can help you out, no problem." So she said, "How are you going to do that?" He said, "I'll cut your money so next week you can only afford 1 bag."
That's true. Did you see that when he was chucked out of a pub? That was brilliant. That was.
Oh,
I think
that was fabulous, wasn't it?
Yeah, get out of here. I don't think any politician or prime minister has ever been disliked as much as him. He is absolutely, But now it says here, Sean Hamer says, Dreamtime healers suggest that a link is created between us and anything we take life from, a link which lives beyond this lifetime. I don't know if this is true, but it is the oldest healing system. That's right. Hunters, when they killed something to eat, they would actually treat the carcass with respect, and they would thank it. Just knee deep in jelly blood, and them rats, but better than the trench. Okay, knee deep in jelly blood. Really, everyone to their own, I suppose. Yes. Now, Sean Hamer said, they say it makes our spirits heavy and binds us to this earthly realm. Interesting. Secure attachments and insecure attachments is the same in us and animals. And we got here to varying degrees, but we all respond to trauma. Yes, we do. Yes. So interesting. But so do the animals know when they're going to go off to be meet their maker, or do you think?
Well,
I mean,
ours do, because we tell them. You can't fluff the situation, can you? At the end of the day, if they know what's going on, they can prepare themselves for it. It's no different to us, is it? If someone's kicking you out of your house, kicking and screaming, or if someone says to you, listen, in 3 weeks' time you've got to leave. You've got 3 weeks to prepare yourself, haven't you? It's no different. They've got to be given love and compassion. This is the big thing, with vegetables, humans, animals, doesn't matter. We all want a bit of loving, don't we?
Well, that's true, and also with vegetables, I reckon that vegetables feel pain.
These vegans have got a lot to answer for.
But did you know that according to one doctor who's looked into this, he reckons that plants are meat eaters. Because if you put a body under a tree, it will get all the goodness, and it will do the outline of the body underneath. Apparently, some trees will do that. I've never heard of it, but that's it. Have you ever known that, Paul?
No. Well, yeah, I kind of sort of heard about it, but not in any as much detail as you've just talked about it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about just, I guess, wild land and animals would die and then they would just rot away in there, and then all the plants grow up around them. So indirectly, as their substance is reconsumed back into the soil, the plants then grow out of the soil. So it's a very slow process. You wouldn't think of them as a sort of an aggressive carnivore, would you, plants? But I guess, because of the whole chain of nature, everything just gets recycled back through and carries on. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that, I try not to kill things. I mean, even slugs, I try not to. I prefer.
I just don't like slugs. I don't like them.
They're not very tasty, are they? But best thing is to get a hedgehog. Hedgehogs eat slugs, but it's not a kind of life cycle. That's the thing. And but when you look at it, nature is cruel. It's terribly cruel.
Do you know how you cook a hedgehog?
No.
You cover it in clay and then you bake it, and then when you pull the clay away after it's baked, when you take it away, it takes all the pines off and the skin, and you just end up with the meat inside.
Oh, no, I can't have ever done that.
We might need to, if things get really bad, everyone, we might need to remember how to do that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, during World War II, they used to eat crows. Seriously, they ate crows and magpies and almost any bloody thing, because they were so hungry. Because the ration was something like 1 egg a week, and it was incredible what people had to survive on. But there's a lot of wild things you can actually eat, i.e. thistles. You can eat thistles as long as you take all the stinging bits off. Apparently they taste very, very nice. Thistles. Dandelions, you can eat them all year round. They're perfectly okay.
Dandelions are very good for you. Good for your heart.
Are they?
Very good.
Very good for your heart.
So obviously, Mark, what we really need here is we need a regular weekly Food Fun with Mark show, don't we? You know, I mean, the old radio things used to have gardeners' question time, so we need, I don't know, farmers' feeding time or something like that. All this sort of stuff. There's just tons of things you've said in the last hour or so. Of course, I'm trying to remember as many as I can, but
it's right. Because you heard the one about the 90. I think I've said this on your show, Paul, haven't I? Plug every Thursday. Plug at 8:00. Was it Paul English Live? Isn't it on Rumble?
PaulEnglishLive.com is where all the links are. Yeah, we're all over the place, but yeah, well, they're certainly there.
I think I mentioned this about the. This is true. It was on BBC Radio in the early 50s or late 40s, early 50s, and I've heard this from several accounts from all different people. And they used to have a vicar and some posh lady on there talking about the gardening was here, and the day before, the vicar had actually accidentally impaled his finger on a thorn, see, and it went live. And this lady said, "How's your prick, vicar?" And he said, "Oh, it's still throbbing." And of course, they thought it's all innocent. And working class people listening off their seats with laugh. And that actually went out live on the BBC. So there we go.
That's when the BBC was actually good. That's what you mean.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it was good up until about 1970s, I think it was, and that was it. You know. Now, but that's like what's not as we know it. What starts with a P and ends with an E and has 1 million letters in it? Post office. Yes. What does a man do standing up, a lady do sitting down, and a dog do on 3 legs? Shake hands, of course.
Of course.
Yes. No rude. Nothing smutty there. Nothing rude. Oh, give slugs a break. They eat more dead stuff than live stuff, and are part of the cycle of decomposition. Yes, I suppose. Yes,
listen, Sean, just do me a favour and come and tell my vegetables that, will you? Because slugs in Suffolk must work very differently, because they've destroyed our veg this year when it was wet. We had to go there every night with a torch and de-slug everything.
But that straw idea you gave me with the potatoes is working a treat so far.
Yeah. That's the quickest way to get slugs off of stuff is put straw around them, because they get grounded and just end up like, and sawdust as well. They just get like.
Really? Yeah. And so they don't lock it up, do they? Yes. No. Now, it says, with less stress, they are more tender and take less time cooking. Stress kills. And he says, now, they are essential, as is everything that has life. Reconciliation says, how do I call in? Well, Paul, can you send him a link? The link that I sent you, please, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. It's much appreciated.
Well, I'm saying yes. I don't know who I'm sending it to. Who is it that wants it? Patrick.
Patrick, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it says here, baking hedgehogs is an old traveller's way of cooking it. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
And it says, yep, slugs eat dog poo. I didn't know that. How delightful.
It's a good title for a show, that. Gets people's attention. Yeah. Or maybe it's the name of one of those retro 1980s bands, when they came up with strange names. Yeah. We are Slugs Eat Dog Poo. Yeah, that's the sort of count me in.
Would you like a schedule, Mike, of the shows? Because you thought it was quite amusing, the show coming up called Things, which is next Sunday. Things.
I can't do next Sunday. I'm in Burnley.
You're Burnley? Oh, because that's yes. And,
Burnley.
and what Sunday?
That's that. In Burnley, they're all there ours. It's where Peter, what's his name, comes from. Burnley and around there.
Hey, listen, and Dave, the banker.
Dave the banker. Is he the guy that set up his own bank?
Yeah, Dave the banker. Not J. Arthur banker. He's a proper banker. He set up his own bank.
Ah, yes. And hang on.
Well, we need a people's farm bank. We just need to set one up, and then we'll need a lot of people to turn up on the day when all the, retards turn up to shut it down. But I think this is what it's all about: food and banking. Yeah, food's very important.
I like the idea we can take produce along. They had this in Australia, where people outside their houses said, please take what you want, but then give something back which you've grown. So if you had too many apples and they've got pears and you want pears,
we'll like a nice pear. Let's
back and you take some pears.
We do all like a nice pear.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, wasn't there maybe there's more than one, some village or town in jolly old England times, like recently, where they have turned all the sort of public spaces over for growing vegetables, like verges and roundabouts and anything like that. And it just says, take what you like. And there's just tons of food everywhere. I can't remember where it was.
Yeah, they need to do more of that.
That was in Germany.
Well, they will have shut it down, Mark, because obviously someone will go, we can't be doing that. They're going to feed themselves. We don't want that. How are we going to control them if they can directly feed themselves? No, that's why this is
really.
Being a farmer is actually now a major revolutionary act, just like telling the truth. But it is. So I really think that the alliance between the people and the farmers, with that PFF, this is the way to go. I've been talking about it for some time. I'm so glad people I'm going to get behind it anyway. I'm going to start doing stuff. I do want to sell milk, but I don't want to go to milk prison.
And if you've got somewhere you can go and get raw milk, buy it, as much of it as you can buy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. And by the way, Patrick is on, and Patrick's from America. And so welcome, Patrick. And I don't think you've met the bowler hat farmer. So bowler hat farmer, welcome, Patrick. Patrick,
greetings, sir.
Yeah, greetings. Nice to be here.
And we've been talking about how marvellous our governments are, so supportive of the farmers.
Yeah,
and the World Economic Forum wants to open up so many farms so we could all eat good, pure food, I don't think. Is it as tough? Well, I don't know if you compare, but it's tough in Great Britain. I guess it's tough in America.
Well, it's not so tough for farmers if all they want to grow is maize and soybeans. They get their stipends whether they produce a crop or not. So it's a good system for the farmers. But if you want to grow anything else besides those two things, it's a little bit more difficult.
Well, is that like anything what's of any use, you mean?
Yeah. Well, you got to be a big farmer in order to benefit from that system. The best place to go is out in North Dakota. Those farmers there become billionaires because of the amount of government subsidies they get.
Yep.
But Patrick, although you've just joined us, what Mark was talking about half an hour ago is real wealth, the use of, you describe it, Mark, the use of drawing power from the ether.
Yeah, so we're drawing power from the ether and sticking that into the earth to generate electricity through the vegetables to make them grow bigger.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that. I was the one that made the comment about hearing it on a radio show, and there was somebody that had been on talking about that. And I've seen photos of people's setups with electrodes going into the ground, and the yield that is increased dramatically by it. And I'm not sure how it works. I'm interested to learn more, though.
Yeah, well, I've got on the 13th of October, we've got a presentation in open day on our farm, and we've got loads of people coming to kind of go through the science of it. And it really is a clever piece of science, but it's just mind-blowing. I just love it. Coming from a farming background for me, where we used to grow in big fields full of shite products like wheat or barley or sugar beet, whatever it might be, and my passion's growing vegetables. So for me, you can only either grow vegetables on huge scale or on small scale. It's kind of not an in-between thing. It's either all handwork or all machine work. And so for me to be able to grow, some of the pumpkins and that, which a friend of mine grew last year doing this, and pumpkins which, weigh sort of like 100 kilos. It's just like mental, these things. They're just like they're on steroids.
Well, I heard you talking earlier about comfrey. That's something I wanted to learn more about. I have a comfrey plant outside growing in an old cutout tire that a couple from Washington State had sent to me as a root rhizome, and then I planted it. Now it's been going for years. I can't kill it. I had chickens, and the chickens attacked it, and I thought the thing died.
No.
And they came right back up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Chop the comfrey up, put it in a water butt, and you'll have free nitrogen.
Yeah, I heard. There's a PhD professor in agriculture, Richard Miller, that was talking about how you should be growing fields of comfrey as a way to you let your animals out to pasture, and then it prepares the soil for the next crop that you're going to put in with the nitrogen and every other nutrient that's in it. And then I was learning a little bit more about that too. You can make a poultice out of it for cuts and burns. That is really good. It's like an aloe almost.
Yes. I mean, one of the problems we've got, and I'm sure you have in America as well, one of the things, Patrick, we've got in the UK, the biggest issue in food production as a whole is the fact that the farming these days, it's all about rape and pillage. You plant a potato.
Monoculture. Yeah.
You plant a potato, for instance, you chuck as much fertilizer on it as it needs, and then you dig it up. And a friend of mine is a potato farmer. He says, we mine for potatoes, we don't grow them. And that just sums up this whole rape and pillage attitude, where what they really need to do is get some real goodness back into the ground, and, to have that nourishment. Because if you nourish and feed the food, then the food will feed us.
Yeah, the crop rotation. Let it go fallow some years, and then
absolutely.
Most of these farmers around here, though, they'll grow corn like year after year after year, and just throw nitrogen in the ground, and it just depletes the soil and erodes the soil. And then they'll rotate it every once in a while and throw some soy in there, but that's about it.
John Hamer has just come in and said comfrey reduces the healing time of breaks and strains by as much as 50%. Especially if you allow the frostbite method and don't freeze the cells like the NHS tell you to do. That's interesting.
So the NHS there tells you to use comfrey, I take
No.
it.
No.
What does that mean?
The frostbite technique.
What's that?
Cold compost, isn't it? So you put coldness on something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They'll tell you to ice pack things, won't they?
Spring.
Yeah.
That's true. I think the Greek word for comfrey is something like bone knit or bone healer is the meaning of it. And in different languages, it means the same thing. They have the common phrase of bone something or other because it mends bones.
Wow. Yeah. That's interesting.
Marvelous stuff. And what was it you were saying about rosemary the other week? That was it? It helps you with your mind and your thoughts and memory and things like that.
Yeah. If you've got Alzheimer's, they reckon with my dad, he's got Alzheimer's going on. Get him to rub a piece of rosemary and just smell it, 4 or 5 times a day, and it helps considerably.
Right, I'll be rubbing rosemary, as they say.
That's right.
And she won't mind at all.
Steady. This is a family show. But yeah.
There's some twisted families out there, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Christmas day at the workhouse and everyone was feeling merry. Mary didn't like it, so she got up and walked out. Anyway, that's a terrible one, isn't it? But he's gone on to say, only do that for pain relief, but remember, pain is part of the healing process. We shouldn't seek to eliminate it completely. Yeah. And he's gone on to say Samuel Culpepper, the famous herbalist, coined the term knit bone because he pit bones together in a pan. He pit bones in a pan with comfrey.
And they stuck together?
They stuck together, yes. Yeah, they stuck together.
Typo.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think that's when he put bones together.
Yeah, or so the story goes. I suspect he was referring to its healing and generation properties, generation properties.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of like an aloe. When you break the leaves and the stalks, it's got an aloe type substance in it. So I can imagine it being probably aloe vera would be another good thing for the healing.
Yeah.
Oh, aloe vera is fantastic. I mean, if you've got
Aloe
aloe vera
vera.
plant,
Oh no.
aloe vera,
Yeah.
and you cut yourself, you put that on the cut. It's better than a plaster. So, it's brilliant stuff because it sort of dries on the cut. But if you cut yourself, the best thing to put on it is cayenne pepper. But as soon as your backside up to your elbows, but
it's funny you mentioned cayenne pepper because I'm just ordering cayenne pepper capsules. I need to get some. And for the men out there, apparently, if you get onto cayenne pepper and take, I don't know what you're supposed to take every day, but say a capsule or whatever, it will lead to a 50% increase in your testosterone after about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Now,
that's true.
for someone like me, I've already got surplus testosterone. If I don't need any more. I've got far too much as it is. And no, seriously, I think it might be a good thing. So all of these things.
Too much testosterone makes you bald. Did you know that? It's an overabundance of testosterone.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Apparently, if you rub coconut oil on your head, it'll all grow back. Eric, yeah, but even if it doesn't grow back, at least you'll be, people can come up and lick your head every now and again.
Yeah, smell good.
Well, you know what they say about baldness? Like men that get bald in the back are lovers, and the ones that get bald in the front are thinkers. So the ones that are bald all over, they think they're lovers.
Do you know, I hate being bald because I used to have hair down to my shoulders, and it was lovely. It was because you feel the bleeding cold when it gets a bit cold. Christ, that's cold. You have to wear a hat.
Yeah, but
whereas I
let's
never
be
used
honest,
to wear a hat.
Chris,
but
you haven't worn that wig since Saturday night.
No, oh bloody hell! No, the wig's gone. Oh,
you could wear a hat like Mark's, Eric. You'd look quite good in a bowler. You'd look like a city gent. This would be a good thing.
You need a fur hat, like one of those Russian Ushankas.
Patrick's only saying that because he wants to sell you one. He's a fur hat dealer. He's a bloody fur hat dealer from Wisconsin. These guys, they're always on the make.
They get you some mink. Some nice silver fox. There you go.
Yeah, you could look, if you did it right, Eric, you'd look like Leonard Brezhnev. Hey, come on, there's a look for you. It's the Leonard Brezhnev of British internet radio. Gosh, how weird is that? That's really weird. I'm feeling a bit funny now. That's really odd.
Who's this funny?
But Nathan just said top hat for Eric. Yeah, that's an idea. Have a top hat on, put top hat and sea boots, as they say. And I've got a skullet haircut. Yes. Well, no, I'm not bald. I've just got very wide central parting, you see. So I like to sport a central party. So that's a bit of bullshit I could get away with, isn't it? But I tell you the weird thing, when you go bald, you actually feel the rain on your head for the first time. It's a weird sensation, So you're walking along, what's this? It's awful. But no, I miss my long hair, but that's life. They said it's in my genes, and I changed from Levi's to Wranglers, but it made no bloody difference at all. So, that's was it. Now,
Nathan's suggesting, Eric, that a top hat would be better for you than a bowler or the Leonard Brezhnev Wisconsin mink hat. I don't know.
And then a
hat's
monocle.
How about? I tell you what, you could do. You could get a mitre. You'd look quite good, actually.
There you go.
You would.
He'd look good in a fez.
Yeah.
No, fez would be good. I can just see you there with one of those big hats on, Eric, as the English country vicar with the glasses and everything. It's fantastic, Hello, all that kind of stuff. It's brilliant. Yeah.
I went to a tractor show at the weekend, and there was a guy walking around in a bowler hat, and a lady went up and she said to him, she said, "You're not the real one." She said, "Take that off."
I won't crack the joke about the difference between a prostitute and John Wayne, will I? Because it's a bit too filthy, that one. John Wayne had a large prairie hat.
Yes, he did.
I think you got to work that one out. Anyway, on with the show. I think after listening,
and Mary had.
Yes, Mary had a little lamb. She kept it in a bucket, and every time the lamb escaped, she used to shout. Anyway, I'm with the show.
Right,
Actually, we got another dad joke come up here.
I'm all stuck on the hats though, Eric. I'm still stuck. I can't get the hats out of my head. I mean, because you do video, you could have a different hat each week. It'd take years to get through them all, surely.
Well, we have done this before, haven't we? Where we had you had was it an army hat or an Air Force hat or something we had on one week, and a tinfoil hat another week.
Oh, hang on, I still got that. Hang on a minute.
I see.
Tinfoil hat. do you know, I tell you something.
It's so well made as well. I think it's the way it just fits perfecto. That's very good.
Paul, he used to watch Blue Peter a lot years ago.
Yeah, we all did. I was forced to watch it at gunpoint. Blue Peter. And here's one I've already made. Here's one we've made already. That kind of thing.
Made earlier.
Yeah.
Shep, get off my leg, Shep. Do you remember the one with the elephant? Oh, you must go on to YouTube, Patrick. You probably never heard of Blue Peter. It's a children's show, and there was one week they had a zookeeper coming with a baby elephant, and the baby elephant ran wild in the studio and pooed and weed.
I remember that.
And the keeper slid in it.
It dragged the keeper through. It dragged the keeper through the urine, through literally vast pools of baby elephant urine and poo. He was just dragged through it. It was hilarious because it was live. Oh, bring back live TV. It's just absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that's it.
But, if you go onto YouTube, just put "baby elephant Blue Peter" or something like that.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
You've seen it, and it's in the 60s, I think it was, or 70s.
69.
I don't know.
69, yeah.
It was, but it was classic. It really was. Yeah. But do you remember when there was it Peter Purvis, and who was the other one who said "Get down, shit"?
John Noakes, Valerie Singleton.
Oh, she was a sex goddess.
That's right.
Was she? Well, I was only 9 at the time, so I didn't even know what that meant. I was just really interested in sticky back plastic, to be quite honest.
And that hasn't changed, I've heard.
No, still the same. And I've got some sticky back plastic here, and some old washing up bottles, and some egg cartons, and hey, presto, we've made a 16th century fort. It was great. It was just fantastic. And you try doing it at home and yours just look crap. How do I make it look like that? Really irritating.
And the Thunderbirds Island. You ever make the Thunderbirds Island?
Thunderbirds Island. All the kids wanted Thunderbirds Island. They made that.
Yeah.
How many kids were disappointed that year?
Do you remember the complaints when they made ginger beer for the kids? Because it's alcoholic. Can you imagine?
Was it really?
Today? Ginger beer. Yeah, they showed you how to make ginger beer on there.
Was it alcoholic?
Yeah, all kinds.
Yeah. It's funny as ginger beer, though, isn't it? It's a bit weird anyway. Even with or without the alcohol, it's still a bit odd. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's ginger to start with, isn't it? It speaks volumes, doesn't it?
I know. It's already a bit of a worry. It's a slight concern before we've even got going. Yeah.
Gingery beer. No, but no, Blue Peter. I mean, I've actually still got the animals up in the loft, and they're worth a fortune. They're collector's pieces. And do you remember John Noakes? Not John Noakes. The first one, Christopher Trace. He ended up as a storeman in a factory in Hemel Hempstead. Apparently, he got.
Oh, that's quite exciting, really. So he moved on. Things got better for him.
Well, no, what happened? He got peed off with it. And he had to go in mid-January and go and swim in the sea in a swimming costume. And after that, he said, "Sod that," and he left broadcasting altogether and worked in a factory.
Do you think someone didn't like him? That's why they made him do it. That's a bit spiteful, isn't it? Sending someone out to swim in the winter in a swimming costume
in January, especially in this country. Yeah, I mean, freeze certain things off, isn't it? Yes.
Whilst we're still on the Thunderbirds theme, even though we're not really, but I'm circling back to use that phrase. Sean writes here that Farage, or Farage, depending on where you come from,
he does.
Farage looks like the butler from Thunderbirds. He bloody well does. He
yes,
does.
lady.
Parker. And he even walks a bit like him. Yes, I guess maybe he does. He does. Yes, milady. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well noted.
Do you think we're permanently stuck in our childhoods? It's pretty bad, isn't it? You just can't get away from these things. It took up so much hard disk space when I was young. I hadn't got room left for anything else. It's just all full of bloody Blue Peter and Thunderbirds memories.
That's where my bowler hat comes from. Do you remember Mr. Ben?
I like Thunderbirds, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do. I remember Mr. Ben. He would go into the shop, wouldn't he? And he'd put a hat on and he would be transported.
Would appear by magic.
Yep, they would.
And Baby with a Laser said, how odd, the voice of Parker died recently. So the person
yesterday. Died yesterday.
Wow.
Really? Good heavens. Yeah. But I'll be straight with you, some of their acting...
That's from Baby with a Laser, which is a very interesting handle, isn't it? Baby with a Laser. It's a bit worrying if you are really a baby with a laser. But, but how odd.
Yeah. Like a baby Darth Vader, wouldn't it?
I found the acting a bit...
Yeah, what? What? All those puppets?
Yes. It was an email I set up for a CCTV camera. So when I couldn't do bugger all with my account, I just used that one. Really? Oh, I think they're having a conversation here. Sorry. But no, it's funny though. Back to farming and food. We know that the World Economic Forum wants to do away with farming. And communism always goes for farming and then industry.
But farmers want to do. Well, don't we want to do away with the World Economic Forum? So yes. we need to get together with the farmers. Then we need to reenact that bit from Frankenstein, where we all get together with pitchforks, the irate villagers and everything. And then we find Klaus Schwab, who does look a bit like the monster, frankly, with all that sort of oddness about him. And then we need to sort of pitchfork him. I never said that. I mean, that would be a terrible thing if that happened. That would be awful, wouldn't it, really?
That
would be a bad thing.
Yes. And let's face it, what a marvellous man he is.
Oh, he's well on the ball. He's well on the ball. I mean, let's be honest. He's got it pretty well sorted out. What I don't understand about it all, and this is, in my naivety of being a simpleton, let's say, is they're poisoning the skies, that's poisoning the ground, that's poisoning the food, that's poisoning us, that's killing us, so there's not as many of us on the planet, but they need us to produce the stuff they want, to earn them the money they need, to keep them in power. So, where do they gain out of this BS?
I think there's a little bit more to it. I think what they think is they've now got enough of a technological group, I don't know however many millions that is, that they need, to basically organise just about everything that they need for themselves without having to have lots of people like us around. Something like that.
I think you could
he's obviously not the sharpest knife in the drawer, Schwab. I mean, seriously, he comes across to me as a thicko. Most of them do. I think, and we need to really ramp this up, that these people are thick. And they're to be mocked, as Eric regularly says. And we've got to really develop the sharp linguistic mockery genes around here and just absolutely rip them all the time. So we've got loads of fantastic targets to practice on. And the thing that we need, though, is we need more and more amplifiers. We need a bigger PA than they've got. We've got to build a bigger one, right? Because it's everything, most of what you've been talking about here, Mark, for the last hour and a half is just everybody in England needs to know this, right? Like yesterday. Yeah. And there's loads of other things that they need to know as well. And we need to create that kind of lively, energetic media space in which people just plug in and go, yeah, of course, I'm getting some copper and some galvanized steel or whatever it is, and I'm going to make sure that my potatoes are 8 feet tall. Great.
Absolutely.
That's what we want.
And tell your neighbors how to do it.
Absolutely. Don't you think it'd really change that vegetable show? How big is your marrow? Oh, it's 16 feet. What? Yeah, 16 foot. This is quite small. Last year it was 25 foot, the marrow that we grew. It's just, they've all gone mad. So, yeah.
Feed the world. With marrow.
Well, we do need to feed, and we need to feed it good thinking, because this is, they're just putting out idiot stuff all the time. Actually, that's not even that doesn't do it any favors. It's not that they're idiots. It's not fair to idiots. No, it's just they've got this sort of. It's because they don't get any pushback. I mean, if you think about it on a human level, say with our political class over here. Sorry to sort of lower the tone of everything, but there's 600 and odd of these buggers, right? And when was the last time you heard any of them take charge of the mic during questions and absolutely hammer something in that really made a difference? Something that ran completely counter to the regular flow of vomit and cess that comes out of everybody else. Nothing at all. It's all tame. It's totally contained pretend opposition. It's not real. There's nothing real about it. I was seeing a thing about Farage today. I mean, it's just a joke. The whole thing is just, we'll give them a little bit of what they want, but don't go the whole way. We have no intention whatsoever of letting them get anything that we want. We just want to kind of indicate that perhaps we might. But when push comes to shove, we're not going to do that. So, all of these parties are all manipulated by the same thing. Everybody's wasting their time being with them, but I don't think we're wasting our time by going direct to farms and building a local, consumer farmer support group.
It needs to be about local food networks. That's exactly what
yes, it does. Absolutely, because all the management of that resource will bring everything else out. They go, we're going to take your vegetables. Well, we're going to take your head off because we need to eat. It's just much more direct. You go, if they muck about with the food, you better really understand this. That it's probably the best way to get through to most people as fast as possible, because that's what's needed. People are dorking around in supermarkets eating shite. The food trade, where you can trade your food for someone else's food instead of having to go through the money system, the banker system as well. Yeah.
And be able to feed yourself good food with a wide variety of not just
electro food. Electro, or whatever it's called, I just think it's brilliant. I mean, I've seen it before, Mark, but you talking about it today has sort of made it all real in my head properly. So I'm going to do. And Patrick, if you can get over to Suffolk for October the 13th, pull your finger out, will you? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
They had things called power towers, right? And they feel like bottles of stones, and that sits as like a power, like a battery pack. And you just sit it in the ground, and it sucks up all the energy and then releases it overnight when the sun goes down. It's brilliant.
You know what this reminds me of? Crystal. Do they use crystals in this? Because there was a big thing about crystals about 10 years ago, where people were building crystal pyramids and things like that.
Oh, they use copper pyramids, and you put your seeds inside the copper pyramid and you charge them. So you charge the seeds with electric before you put them in the ground. Oh, honestly, boy, you're going to learn so much when you come in October. Woo!
Well, this is real wealth. What you're talking about is actual wealth. Everybody goes, I need loads of money. You go, no, you don't. We don't need money at all. What we need is the removal of bills. It's a reverse thinking. It's bills that keep coming into your house that you don't want. Bugger off with those bills. I don't owe you nothing. And then we just need to go direct with one another. Wealth is friends and food. It really is.
I agree with you.
It's not much else.
Well, you do need the land. You need if you're going to have a peasant class, you need land that they can dwell on without having to pay taxes where they get it robbed from them eventually.
Yeah.
That's another big issue.
I personally think what we're going to see in the next few years, because there's a lot of farmers are now worried about what to do with land, and I can see a lot of land being given to CICs, especially like community interest projects. We've set one up, which is how we've got our land. We got given 15 acres a little while ago on a 99-year lease for £1 a year. And that's pretty interesting to be able to now look at that as another project and go, we can grow loads of vegetables here.
Yes.
So I think farmers are going to start looking at land very differently, because there's so much BS around net zero and around the nonsense of, we're going to have to, be sustainable, and we have to. People don't even know what sustainable bloody means. Farmers have been doing everything sustainably for thousands of years. It's suddenly because it's come cult,
buzzword.
It is, isn't it? Patrick, it's exactly what it is. It's a buzzword now. And, farmers have been doing, sustainable farming for thousands of years. And unfortunately now it's been hijacked by the World Economic Forum to just preach to people how we need to live to suit their requirements rather than ours. And I don't know
it's just yeah, you're right. It's the same thing that the commies did to the Ukraine in the 30s. There's nothing different. They just we're going to improve farming by controlling it centrally. Really?
Scientifically, follow the science. There again.
Well, it's the science that counts. Yeah, right. Really. We've got to run these guys out of town on a rail. They just need their asses kicking, and then they need him kicking again. I read something the other day from, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show the other day, but I really liked it. Adolf Hitler having a chat with Goebbels about someone that they didn't like. And Adolf said to Goebbels, it sounds like a joke, it's not. They weren't getting anywhere. I can't remember the hell it was. He said, right, the gist of his sentence was, we're going to have to knock his teeth out. This is what Adolf said. We've got to knock his front teeth out. He's one of those people that will not pay attention until we've knocked him out. And this is what we've got with this World Economic Forum people and all. They need their teeth knocking out. There's no other way around it. They're just never, ever going to listen. There's a complete attention disconnect. They are so up their own orifices and are so utterly convinced that they have the answers to problems which don't actually exist, of course, because they're that stupid. And they've manufactured these problems in their heads to justify their position as the people that are going to solve them. And we're just saying, why don't you all just bugger off? Just go away. Don't come back, ever. Just go away. But we're going to have to knock their teeth out, metaphorically speaking, of course. I don't mean it literally. I don't think I do. That would be bad. You know, it causes too much trouble for all those dentists, and they're busy as it is. So we don't want them replacing lots of. But you get the gist of it. There's that thing. What were you supposed to do with Klaus Schwab if you could even go out and have a meal with him?
Well, that's just it's the whole aristocracy versus the peasants.
Yeah,
absolutely, like the Frankenstein thing. That's kind of an allegory of it. They create this Frankenstein that's supposedly better, a superhuman, and then it turns out to be a monster. And all it does is wreak havoc on the poor people that it's supposed to help. Because the ideal is great. Oh, well, we'll create someone to do the work for us that, you know, we don't have to feed or take care of or give property. And
centralization. That's really
that's why we had slavery, isn't it? It worked for fucking hundreds of years.
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a fair trade. I mean, you're not a complete slave. You have to take care of people and see to their needs. If you just knew you owned land in perpetuity for the rest of your life, you wouldn't need to be chasing after money, as you wouldn't need it as much. And then having relationships with your neighbors would be important, and you wouldn't.
Well, one of the things, Patrick, that I've mentioned to Eric that I've even now I ain't got around to viewing it. There's some guy in Australia who's set himself up as his own nation. And he really has. And I'm going, right, well, I want to be a nation then. I want to have my own. And he's got his own flag and all this kind of stuff. And it's one of these things you go, oh, yeah, it can't be done. It can. These things are coming. I just think the more people that look at these things, we're just like nibbling away at them like termites. They're just not going to be able to cope with it. Well, and more people have just, whatever you do, just be a pain in the arse to them, because that'll wear them out. We just go, no. And every time they ask for something, we just go, no, we're not doing that. No. Why? We're not even telling it. Can't be bothered to work it out. It's you, because you said it, we're not doing it. It'll literally be that childish. You know, let's have a reasoned debate about it. Let's not. Can't be bothered. I'm not coming. No, I'm not doing it.
Well, here in America,
like babies.
In America, we have the Constitution where it provides for independent nations. As they call it the Indian tribes, that they have their own nations in their own territory. It can be done. So it's not impossible. It's just people have this mentality they got to follow the sheep.
It's all possible, isn't it? What we're doing, I think, here is part of this ongoing conversation to keep beefing up our brains so that we do things. I mean, what's really good about doing this tonight, with what you're saying, Mark, and what you bring, is that this is. I get really galvanized by this stuff because it's a positive. Instead of us telling each other, I mean, we do to a certain degree, right, about all the crap that the other side are doing. Now we don't like this and we don't like that, and it's all completely valid. But when you say, look, this is when we do things directly for one another and just sort it out, that's the answer. We make their stuff irrelevant. I'm not against them. We just don't even need to interact with them. No. What they've got is just blather and nonsense. You need us to sort out your problems. No, we don't. We need you to go away because you're causing the problems, and we all see it. But I like it. I like this. It's constructive. And it's good. As a people, we really work better when we're positively constructive. We're not good at defending stuff. It's not in our nature. Let's just build something. We just outbuild them. Yeah, overwhelm them with stuff.
But I tend to find that, the British and those who derive from the British, 51% of all the world's ideas come from England. Over the years of I think it was something like 72% of all worldwide patents are English.
I know it seems a bit like we're blowing our own some Japanese team. I saw this thing about a year ago that was on YouTube. A Japanese team had researched all of the inventions in the world, right? It's actually higher than what you said. It was 84% from here.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's to do with timing. I think a great deal of it. It doesn't mean that we're 84% smarter than anybody else. I mean, I'm not saying we're stupid. Although you can go into places in England, you can find a lot of stupid people. I didn't really say that, but I think it was to do with the fact that because it was an island. I know this is sounding a bit odd. Because we were an island, you could get a barge and you could load it with coal in Newcastle. And for very, very low cost, you could move it all the way down to the coast to London, right? And it went quite quick. Whereas if you're in mainland Europe, the fastest thing you've got is a horse and a car. And you're limited by that, right?
Well, most of the main
We're not
cities.
limited with boats. So, so when we start coming up with things like Bessemer steel converters and all these other things, right? Not only are we making it, we can move it around this island really quick. Compared to anybody else. I mean, you might go, oh, it's bloody slow on this barge. Yeah, but compared to everybody else, it's not, because you're carrying hundreds of tons of this stuff, and it's making a big difference all of the time. So the actual geography of being an island race and having water power everywhere, that's what's made the difference. So we got to build more boats faster than anybody else. And so we were off around the world before anybody else had even decided that they need to do that.
Yeah, because things like electricity. And mills and all that kind of stuff run off.
All that kind of stuff,
Here we have the Mississippi River, and in Minnesota, the first place to get electricity was the Pillsbury Mill, because it's situated perfectly for generating power.
Yeah. Is that where they make the cookie dough?
Yeah, that's where they make the flour for the cookie dough anyway.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Everybody just thought of the Pillsbury Doughboy when you said that, Patrick.
Yeah, well, it's world famous,
and
of course.
Do you know that's what the American... And in World War One, the American troops who came over to this country were called doughboys.
Because of that?
No, I think it was their buttons or something looked like dough. But my granddad used to say, and it was a term for giving someone a punch on the nose. He's going to give him a right doughboy, because the Americans came over here in World War One, and they obviously finished it off, sort of thing. They came in, was it 1917? But where it's a mystery where that term. Because they were called GIs in World War II, but in World War One,
it could be because of Pillsbury. Pillsbury goes back with British relationship back to the 1850s. I have a book on the history of them, and
really,
I've read, they used to send a large amount of flour from the Midwest over there to you guys.
And exported it,
Yeah.
But when you
it's easy. You go down the Mississippi with a large barge of flour and whatnot. It's not too hard, or through the Great Lakes.
You think, like him or hate him or whatever, Henry Ford made cars so that the average person could afford one. Sorry, it's a terrible pun.
He paid.
But what I was going to say is that, it's mass production.
Black.
That's right, but it's mass production. And when you think about it,
and he paid his workers well enough they could afford it. Yeah.
And can you imagine that today? There'd be so many rules and regulations, you'd be slaughtered before it even started. Because what we've got is
insurance
so many rules and regulations, it's stifling people. Yeah, it's unbelievable. By the way, did you know what multinational energy companies and penguins have got in common? Did you know?
Multinational companies and penguins. Tell us.
What have they got in common, Eric?
Well, well, they can both stick their bills up their arse. It's a terrible one, isn't it?
It's good. It's good that they're consistently kind of off, slightly not that great. I like it. I think it's brilliant.
It'd be good.
Gentlemen, I've got to go. I've got a 3 o'clock start, so I need to get myself off the bed, boys.
Okay.
Well, look forward to getting the information, Mark, and fingers crossed. I look forward to seeing you in somewhere in secret, darkest Suffolk on October the 13th. That would be brilliant.
Eric, I will send that details over to you imminently.
Please do. And please come on again and say, well, remember, you got a choice. You can go on or you can go on radio on Sundays if you want to talk a bit more, shall we say, less YouTube censorship. Or you can come on
YouTube censor things? No way.
No.
What's the chances of that happening?
Yeah, Mark, it's been nice talking with you, and we could talk more because I do farming myself, so it's nice to talk to another person that
Patrick, I'd really enjoy that. Paul, thank you for your time. Eric, as ever, thank you very much.
Lovely, Mark. Thank you.
And we'll catch up soon, boys.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on. Great.
Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you.
See you, Mark.
Good night. See you.
See you soon, boys.
Right, and he will actually miss. Hang on, I'm off the camera now. He will actually miss the outro that Deb has done, because Deb has done a new outro for us, which is pretty good. Now we've got to give a plug. There's your show on Thursdays, Paul, isn't there? It's coming on this Thursday at 8 o'clock. What is it? It's Paul English Live.
.com. Yep, it is. Yep. And this Thursday at 8.
Sunday. If I can have a look at the chart, we got here. Who's coming on this Sunday? I'm just trying to find out. Oh, Things with Josie. So Patrick, Paul, and Nathan, and anybody, Uncle Tom Cobley and all, if you'd like to come on with Things with Josie. So that's going to be interesting, isn't it? This Sunday. And next Monday, we've got Survival Steve coming on. You remember Survival Steve? He was on last Sunday.
Yes, sir.
He's coming.
Well, hopefully he'll survive all the way through this week to be there. Pretty bad if he doesn't, I suppose.
That's right. Yes. There's a slot on Monday, the 7th of October. If you want to fill it, so we could fill it with a subject. You never know. And anyway, we'll speak about that off here, I think. But thank you very much for joining us tonight. And have you anything sort of to sign off with, Patrick, Paul, whilst I'm hurriedly trying to find the outro?
Well, I'd just like to reinforce what Mark was talking about, really. I just think getting copper wires and galvanized steel and using it in the scientific way to grow enormous, vast vegetables is very, very exciting. And I think, once he's done a few of these things or whatever, to get some video footage here into your show, Eric, it's going to be fantastic. Because it sounds like, I know I'm getting a bit carried away, and he said it's very precise, but it sounds as though the cost of it is going to be relatively low. That's massively important, I think, for being able to get a lot of people encouraged to do it, including me. I'm not a Mr. Greenfingers. I don't even go in the garden apart from to saw trees down. But I'm looking at this space thinking, I could use this. And it's sort of, it's changing our thinking that we can sort things out. Instead of moaning about what they're doing, build what we want, and they can bugger off. I'm not interested. And we've got to create that strength. And we know that they're trying to get to us through food. So this, you've got to do something. And in retrospect, we may turn around and say, we should have done that. Well, we know about this today. It's right on our plate. I think we should start looking at acting on these things. And particularly with that People's Farmers Food Alliance thing. I've put the link in a couple of times into the chat. But I've subscribed to their email newsletter whilst the show's been on. And I want to find out more about them. In fact, I'd like to get someone on my show. Yeah. In fact, I might even do that for this Thursday if I can get through to them tomorrow. So that'd be good.
Yeah. And I might put it in the description below so people can link to it. So it won't be tonight, but it'll be probably sort of tomorrow sometime. I'll put a link to that because we need to do this, because that's, I think, how we're going to survive. Because, I mean, I was walking around the supermarket the other day, and when you look round, there's nothing really much pure that you can eat. I was actually looking for some fish, you get in these packs, and you you just couldn't get sort of herrings on their own. It all had to be with smoked or added chemicals and things like that. Why can't they leave the bloody thing alone? You know, why can't you just get it on its own? And even the salmon, which is the Canadian salmon, which is a lot cheaper, had salt added. What? What do you want add salt to fish for? It's bonkers, but that's life. Anyway,
preservative. Yeah, I just want to say one word of practical wisdom. Go to your local butcher and buy meat over the supermarket chains, because then you know you're supporting local farmers. Typically, the local farmers bring their animals to them. So that's one way. They might be selling to big supermarkets and stuff, but at least you know you're supporting the people around you.
There's few left now, though. Most of the bushes around there's only one hanging on by his fingernails. Most of them.
Well, that's why you need to support them, because they're hanging on by their fingernail.
Yeah, it's horrendous. It really is. There are no more fishmongers. None exist, and there's no more greengrocers. None of them exist. I can't think of any.
That's the World Economic Forum for you. That's what's happening.
Well, thank you
Super imperialism.
Very much for joining us. And whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh. And hang on, I lost myself. Here I am. And good night.